This week in synthesis, we're going to be talking about Bob Moog, who is someone near and dear to my heart. When I was your age, college age, I took a course with Joel Chatterby at Albany, in which we had a Moog modular in a particular room at Albany. It was a wonderful, huge machine with all these various modular components, and you would patch them together with quarter-inch patch cords. With guitar cords, you would patch together the modules, starting with an oscillator. You would patch it over to LFOs and filters and create the sound by patching it. The room, having that many modules and that much electricity in it, smelled like an electric train set. When I was a kid, we had an electric train set in the basement, and the transformer would heat up and the engine would run around the track, and there'd be this wonderful smell of sort of warm electrical components. And that's very much what the Moog room at Albany smelled like. It smelled like electricity. Because in fact, rather than just being algorithms as in a computer, there were actual modules generating voltages that were getting moved around. So the thing would heat up and go out of tune, and analog synthesis is wonderful. And it's definitely warm, whatever warm means now in the digital era. That Moog modular room was warm. It was warm in temperature and it was warm in sound. So Bob Moog got his start doing soldering and various work for Raymond Scott, who we mentioned last week. And this was the genesis of his synth company. He realized that if he attached a keyboard to all this wonderful modular synthesis and began to sell it, he would have something that musicians would find very interesting. And so he created the Moog synthesizer, which went on the road with lots of rock stars. In my day, when I was young, when I was your age, they were about $5,000, which was way out of anybody's price range at the time, other than like tremendous rock stars. The prices have come down now. The Moog Little Fatty that I showed you earlier is about $1,200. So now it's become much more accessible for people to get their hands on analog synthesizers. In fact, there are analog synthesizers now that are $300, which is not more than the digital synthesizer that you would buy and put on your computer. Sometimes less. You can get an actual module, analog modular or analog synthesizer with actual circuitry in it for less than what you would get software. So it's just an amazing time, and we really owe a lot of this to Bob Moog and his development of the synthesizer. And we'll be looking at some more of this week, as well as we will continue our journey into physical modeling synthesis. So our assignment this week is to open up sculpture and to continue working with the different materials. And we are also going to be looking at some of the sliders around the material pad, tension modulation and resolution, and dampening, and to see how that affects the sound. Remember, we have the material, which can be either wood, steel, or glass, or nylon. And then we have the excitation method, which is how we set that material, that string, quote, into motion. We have gravity strike, we have bowing, we have a wide bow, we can blow, we can pick, and all of these different excitation methods have quite a bit of effect on the sound. And we're going to be experimenting with that some more this week as we continue on our journey in physical